All right, Joe, so we're going to go through to the quick fire round questions now. Okay, so I'll start for 10. First question, who do you look up for in terms of inspiration or mentorship?
Well, I think that one of the strange, unique situations that people just haven't put themselves in a situation to realize is that most successful people are really open to mentorship. And you could reach out via email, via Twitter to a lot of successful people that inspire you, and they'd probably take the time to talk to you. So I think there's a big opportunity for people there. For me, most of the people that I get inspiration from and mentorship are just from books.
Okay.
I think that people should spend more time reading books about people that have changed and made astonishing outcomes for a company, for themselves, whether it be work-related or not.
Cool.
There's huge opportunities from just reading books for mentors.
Awesome. So that could be you derive from a range of sources that we probably don't have time to go through now, but there's plenty of those.
Yeah, plenty of those.
Absolutely. Okay, question 2. How do you keep your team motivated despite conflicts, obstacles, difficult times?
I mean, it's been particularly challenging for any team over the pandemic.
Yeah.
I think that what we have and where we're fortunate is that everyone in my business is a business owner, so they have a stake in the company.
Yep.
They treat it like their business, and that helps when you're going through difficult times.
Yep.
And the other thing that we have is we have very clear vision of what we're doing. We have very clear outcomes of what we need to be doing each day. And I think that keeps that alignment and focus.
Awesome. Okay. Looking at leadership, what are the most important attributes of strong leaders, in the current times?
I think that leadership, building a business is really about problem solving. So one of the things that I'm always trying to work on is being calm when the situation is getting difficult.
Got it.
I think that when things are getting difficult, people look to a leader to maintain that calm and sense of control. So that's something that is a big thing for me and something that I'm still on that road to perfecting.
Absolutely. We're all work in progress. Yeah. Joe, can you tell us something that makes you particularly proud?
Well, I'm so proud of my team and what we achieved through the pandemic. We raised Malaysia's biggest ever seed round with the lead investor Koperasi Tentera last year. We were their first ever technology investment.
Awesome.
It was for 12 million ringgit. And to get that done, I think is testament to what we're building, but also the opportunities for fundraising that aren't your Sequoia capitals that are available in Malaysia. And Koperasi Tentera are a fantastic partner for us.
Fantastic. The next question is, how do you generate great ideas from your team? How do you facilitate that?
I think it's just making sure that we have a flat structure and an open environment and making sure that everyone's voice is heard. So, we had a couple of new hires start last week and we sat down to catch up, and the first things that I said to them is that every idea is valid and don't be afraid to call me out if you think that I'm doing the wrong thing. And so by keeping that flat structure, by keeping that environment where we have strong communication and people aren't afraid to speak up, I think that's where the best ideas come from.
Fantastic. Joe, if you can tell us one or a couple of things that you look for consistently when you're hiring new staff.
I think the most important factor for me is how hungry someone is to do the job.
Okay, good answer. Nice and straightforward. What does work-life balance mean to you?
Well, it changes.
Yeah.
All of the time. I think that what it used to mean for me was I would probably spend too much time socializing. That was sort of my escape from focusing on one thing for so long. As I've got a little bit older, it's actually taking time away from everyone. So I try and take myself out for a date every morning. It's just a coffee.
Yes, very nice.
Just try and sit down for a coffee and try and have a bit of time to think. I think one of the biggest challenges biggest problems and issues that people create today is that as soon as they're away from the work, they're on their phone. Might be scrolling Instagram, like TikTok, but those downtimes where you're thinking, that's where your best ideas come. Absolutely. And people should prioritize that more.
Absolutely, completely agree. Joe, can you tell us the things that you think about before you promote someone in your business?
I think that if I look at my team and people that have received promotions, the promotion speaks for themselves. It shouldn't be up to me to be the one to review whether someone's ready or not. I think if you're looking at a leadership role, you want to see someone acting like a leader without that title. And if someone's delivering the right outcomes and that's part of their development plan, then it should be black and white. It should sell itself.
Awesome. Okay, so on to the last two questions. What is something you wished someone had told you during your career journey?
I think that competence always precedes confidence. And so I'm sure there's a million people out there that want to try something, but they're worried that they're not going to be able to do it or they're going to fail. And they're only going to get that confidence, ironically, once they've done the job. So if there was one thing that I'd say to recommend to people is just say yes and work it out when you're there. The worst that can happen is you fail, but you'll learn along the way. And next time that opportunity comes, you'll be ready to take it with both hands.
Fantastic, great advice. And finally, Joe, our last question. Do you have a book or any reading material that you can recommend for our audience for inspiration or leadership, etc.?
Well, I think going back to that last question, there's a book by Michael Watkins called The First 90 Days. And that is a blueprint for starting anything new. So if you were taking up a new job opportunity, you were starting a company, it talks about how you would communicate with your stakeholders, it might be your boss and your staff, and how to get everyone on the same journey and clearly articulating roles and responsibilities. So the first 90 days for me is something that I pick up every time I start something new.
Fantastic, thanks for sharing. So Joe, that actually brings us to the end of the quick fire round and to the end of our overall interview session today. So it just remains to say thank you so much for joining us and sharing those fantastic insights with myself and our audience today. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
Pleasure.